Welcome back to another episode of Brown Baggin'. Today I am joined by Charlie. This is a special episode because I don't have anyone behind the camera. So yeah, this will be very podcasty. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so good. I'm never in the park this late. It's very nice. I feel like it's like my personal backyard.
The last time I was in the park this late was probably with you.
Yes.
In like fucking May or something.
Yeah.
That was a very sad, depressing night for me at least.
Well, yeah. And then, whatever, we had a good...
We had a good time. All right, shall we?
Yes, we shall. I was saying I can't...
Oh, you're serious. Okay. That's really funny.
So there we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
I got a ticket for this recently.
Oh yeah, so have I. Never in here though.
I got a ticket for this recently, and then I went through an incredible amount of work to try and not get in trouble.
Did you pay it?
No, it got dismissed, but I didn't. But I didn't do anything. Like it was like I was looking online, like where's my ticket? Then I lost the ticket. Then I was like, do I have a summons? I didn't have a summons, and I didn't have my ticket. So I was like, is this just out in the ether right now? Am I?
But it got dismissed?
$25. And then I called them. I was calling people, whatever. And then eventually it was dismissed. But it was crazy. I was on Atlantic, and I had just gotten a tall boy. I'm brown bagging it. And it's like this. So
slightly.
It's like this. And they're driving. It's Atlantic. And they pull over. I'm like...
They pulled over on Atlantic?
They pulled over on Atlantic, and then I'm there with my girlfriend, and I looked at her, and I'm like, they're coming over here.
Jesus
and it was
Christ.
just like...
That's incredible, because I've been popped in the subway, but that's like, because that's like city property or whatever.
I mean, that's a little... Now, I'm not saying anyone should be getting tickets.
No.
But if I got one on the subway, I'd be like...
I've gotten two on the subway, actually.
Did you pay them? What did you do?
I paid them. Because I was also hoping that it would like fall through the cracks or some shit.
Yeah, mine fell through the cracks.
And it didn't.
I don't know.
It was like the next day it was in the system, and I was like, God damn.
I don't know. White privilege. I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is. But my white friend also had hers in the system that I was
male privilege. White male privilege.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
They look and they see, they see, and then they go, "I'll dismiss this $25 drinking ticket."
Mine in the subway was 75.
I think mine was 75 too, actually. I keep saying 25, but I remember being annoyed because it was like a little more than I thought it should be. But it wasn't triple digits.
Triple? I don't think they do triple.
No.
I don't think they do triple.
No, I mean, I think speeding is triple.
What do you mean?
Speeding in a car.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean for drinking. I don't think they do. Unless you're on
drinking.
Unless you're on a bunch.
Drinking and driving.
Drinking and driving.
Drinking and driving. You'd be lucky with a 3-digit ticket.
You're the second film person I've had on this thing.
That's good because...
And I've had a wide variety. I've had...
that's good.
Montessori Boy, who I don't know. Do you know them?
Right before we sat down here, shout out to Montessori Boy, I was on Twitter while you were getting set up, and I was fed their
latest
sketch. I haven't watched it yet. I was about to. Emo Boy. So right after this, I'm gonna watch Emo Boy by Montessori Boy.
Shout out
Emo Son.
Emo Son
By Montessori Boy, and I like them. I know I like them. I've seen their stuff. I had a buddy who was adjacent to them in college. Not you, another buddy.
Oh, okay.
And said they're really funny, and I watched them.
Shout out Jack.
Shout out Jack.
But anyway, the point of that was that I feel I haven't had anyone the previous,
You had all three of them?
I had all three of them.
That's really fun.
I had three of my actors from the web series. I had my friend Camille, who's a filmmaker and works at Tribeca. And we did that last week. But I haven't had anyone like, I guess she's been in development, but she's definitely like a little bit further away from, I don't know, the cogs a little bit these days.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to talk about, well, are you allowed to say on camera where you work?
I'm not going to say where I work, but I would say that I work. I would say I work at a Hollywood style of
Hollywood,
place.
yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
I work at a Hollywood style place, and I love a lot of the people that I work with, but it's a notoriously tough job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't.
And
think
you've been there
anyone
for
would begrudge that.
almost 2 years now?
I've been there for 2.5 years.
Okay.
I've been there for 2.5 years. Yeah, I very much, I think I had this impression of film and film jobs as something I was not allowed to do.
Because you came from, you had a very interesting job trajectory. We won't call it career.
Should I be so lucky? Yeah.
As far as jobs go, I feel like you've had a very eclectic bunch, and you didn't work in film prior.
No, I went to college and was like, I'm going to be in politics. And that's what I did for a couple of years. But I became a film major when I was there, and I grew up, when I was in Oberlin, I always liked movies. And when I was in Oberlin...
You watch more movies than anyone I know.
I watch a lot of movies.
You watch a lot of shit.
I watch a lot of movies, and I will say, it's funny because I still feel like an imposter around some of the people who I got into film around. Like,
why do you say that?
I don't know. I hate to say it, but a lot of the strongest filmmakers that I went to school with, I went to Oberlin. It wasn't an incredibly strong production program. I loved my production teachers, and they were strong, but it wasn't robust.
Okay.
And it wasn't a place people were really going to be,
Production, yeah.
So to do, it was a small school in Ohio, so it wasn't. But I would do production classes with these kids, and like a lot of the kids who were better at it were people who loved movies and had seen all these movies. And this was before I had a lot of time to watch a million movies. So, it was intimidating, and they had these references I didn't have, and I got all those references in school. I think...
I had a very similar conversation with Camille where we both came in. I think I had a little bit more experience in high school, but I also didn't know shit about shit. I just had a camera very much similar today, and would just act in my own shit. But then, we both got into film school surrounded by, not everybody, but a good amount of people being knowing what the cinema cameras were and knowing lighting and knowing...
Is it bad if my thing hits the...
No. That's fine.
Is it bad? This shows I'm not in production.
No, and that's okay. Not everyone needs to be in production.
Well, this is what people are saying to me. They say you can't leave because we need more people like you, which I think is very flattering.
I think we need people like you who actually give a shit. I feel like having been through a pretty Hollywood play. I'll say it on camera because I don't work there anymore, but I used to work at Anonymous. And they did indie stuff.
Yeah.
But they had big names. And it was definitely more of less of an indie bend to things, I felt.
How'd you wind up at Anonymous? Did we ever talk about that?
I don't know if we did. I just got recommended by my good friend Mega. Shout out Mega.
I know
who
Mega.
Worked.
Or I met Mega.
For the head of production. President of production. And she recommended me. And then somebody in the New York office was liked my resume, even though I didn't have any experience.
But you know what it is? I didn't have any experience either, and I will on camera tell my A24 interview story, which is an amazing story. I think says all the good and bad things about A24, so it's interesting. And I don't feel bad saying it because, as much as they might be a potential partner in the future, I think that, it's a telling story. But I didn't have any experience either when I got to my current job. And, it's funny, I think there's much to be, it's so hard to get a job in film.
Yeah.
It's so hard to get a job in film.
Notoriously difficult.
And I think even though you're not at Anonymous anymore, you can appreciate how much perspective it gave you to be there.
Oh, yeah.
You really learn that it's this business, it's so obvious, you know, and I think you could say it to someone and they'd be like, oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it's obvious.
Right.
But then when you're there, you're like, oh, these are companies. Like,
there's money.
There's money. Like, and then, you know, when I was in college, I was like, oh, well, you know, if I make a short film and then I make another short film and then I make another short film, well, then maybe I'll make a feature film. And then that's, you're like, no, it's
quickly realize
yeah,
that's
you
not
quickly
how
realize
that
it's
fucking
not
works.
like, it's, you know, I've been working really hard on, I have a friend short that is great. And, you know, it's like I'm emailing people at these programmers at these festivals being like, hey, it's so nice to meet you. Like, will you watch the short? Like, like I've never had relationships in my life that are so clearly. I'd like them to not be transactional. I'd like to actually get to know these people. But the impetus for even having a conversation is that maybe that's just life, but it's something I'm having a tough time with. Anyway, this is crazy.
No. I mean, it all is transactional, and I think that's something that, you know, coming from film school, like, there's like, you know, competitiveness to a degree about, you know, getting into classes and getting grants and whatever. But it's like, at the end of the day, we're all students. We're all fucking 18 to 22-year-olds, and we're just trying to make stuff. And so I think, like, I also had that perspective change where you realize that everything becomes transactional because I think some people are built more for that, but then also like the basis of it is a business, you know, like you said, they're companies. And that was definitely something that, you know, you kind of know in the background, like when, you know, you go in the real world and it's like, okay, this is real and there's money being thrown around. But then I think a sobering thought, it's not neutral, it's a pretty neutral thought, but the sobering thought, the realization that I had was that, like, it's a transaction. It's business. Like, you can have a really great thing, and if it's not checking certain boxes or you're not in a certain place, it might not work for you, even if you have, you know, a great thing.
Something I've been thinking about a lot recently, especially as I've gotten, I will say, you know, it's interesting because I kind of have adopted a philosophy of, you know, you said I watch the most films of anyone you know. I watch the most contemporary films of anyone I know. I have not, in many ways, gone back and become a film expert in the way that some people do. But
do you feel like you need that?
In current year, I don't really watch big blockbuster movies, but in terms of contemporary independent cinema, I watch most of it. Or as much as I can. And I don't just mean Americans. I really try and watch everything, you know.
Right. International.
Everything that I can. And that's not like, oh, because a lot of it is fucking bad. Like, it's not like, oh, like, but you know,
that's true. There's a lot of terrible independent movies out there.
But to me, it's like, oh, well, I'm a part of this place and time. I'm learning about this. I'm ingratiating myself to this world. I want to be a part of it. And so doing that and learning as I am now about actually what it takes to make those movies. I mean, what I was going to say is that I think we all have a little bit of a secret desire that's not so secret, which is that there are contemporary filmmakers making beautiful art who make a living, and their movies are just shown to people who are really astute fans of cinema, or maybe in some cases museum art. Like, and they are college professors, and they are academics, and they are baristas, and they are whatever, but they are working filmmakers. We have an idea of independent film as basically the top 30 independent films made a year, about 5 of which are successful. I'm not talking about studio-backed independent film. Like, A24 is a studio, and a studio movie is a studio. Like, to me, those are not independent films, although, you know, someone else might say that they are. Like,
I think with our perspective, I think like a layman might say that, but I think with our perspective,
they are technically not Hollywood studios, but they are.
But I think we can acknowledge
they're tech companies making movies. And so, you know, of movies that get financed from producers' dads and bank loans and credit cards and, you know, the few amazing production companies that persist somehow and get money from rich people who want clout, like who are doing God's work, by the way. If you're a rich person who wants clout, I mean, give your money to production companies.
Right.
Like that, I think that's amazing. But I just mean these people, there's only so many there's only so many of those films, and there's so many films. I think that's something that I've learned. There's so many film festivals and films. Like I've said that, I mean, I think the best programming festival in the world is Locarno, and people don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so...
You put me on to that. I didn't know what
like,
that was.
You know, I think, you know, New York Film Festival, which I love too. I saw 8 films. I bankrupted myself seeing films at New York Film Festival. It's just like, they just program everything I can, you know. Venice programs a lot of the shit that doesn't get into Cannes. Like, you know, it's just sort of like... But then there's, you know... In that way, I hate a lot of, you know, Tribeca... You know, movies can be really hit or miss, but they program some stuff that no one else would program too.
Right.
So, like, I admire them, and they're just there, you know.
Well, it's interesting that you said that there's a lot of movies, which I agree with. That there's like so much thing. There are so many things out there that you just, as like a average American viewer, cannot have access to, for a variety of reasons. Whether it be the market or whether it be, I don't know, because you're just not tapped in enough. But then I guess like, from my perspective as a filmmaker, it seems like, I guess I'm not disagreeing. Of course, there are so many fucking things that are being made all the time, domestically, internationally. But then I think at the same time there is, and I don't think I'm the only person who feels this way, but I feel like it's becoming increasingly more difficult to make a movie.
It's interesting. I mean, the means of production are infinitely more accessible. I mean, Spike Lee and filmmakers of his generation and the next were literally having to go to grad school to get the equipment to make a movie. So in that way, it's so much easier to make a film, but there was so much less competition. So it's a little bit apples and oranges, but I think there is an intentionality to it too. I mean, there are these filmmakers who are making their successful film very late in their lives, and
after putting out
I mean, it's funny, like, I mean, no matter what you think of Sean Baker, I mean, it's so interesting that he's like a Hollywood icon now, because you know, whether you like his movies or not, no matter what you think of him, I mean, he was making movies for nothing with no support, and has always, you know, been a supporter of film. I think there's a lot of people like that, and you know, people have this idea also that these famous independent filmmakers are filthy rich. I mean, they're rich, but are they any richer than your friend who went to McKinsey will be in 15 years? Not at all.
Yeah, no, probably not.
So
there's a select few who are ultra rich, but not everyone can be Spielberg or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, even what is rich? I mean, but whatever. I mean, taking a step back, I think you said, yeah, it's harder to make a film. I think there's hyper competition. I think one, a filmmaker is an identity that's sought after.
Yeah.
I think that there are people who
want to have that label. Yeah,
and I think one thing about filmmaking, it's shitty to say, but it's somewhere between poetry and photography, art form, and I have written plenty of poetry, some of which is probably okay and most of which is bad, that I enjoyed making and sharing with people that wouldn't judge me too hard for putting out bad poetry. And photography, in that, like, you can pick up a camera or pick up a pen and take a photo or write a poem in like 20 minutes. Right. You know, right. Making a film's a little bit harder than that.
A little bit.
But you can do it if you have money or time or friends or whatever. Right. Whereas, like, if you're you can't, like, really be a singer if you can't sing, you know?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I guess what I mean is, like, filmmaker is an identity that takes enough effort to put out a product that you had to think about, but also is not accessible enough to be interesting to people that don't have it. So I think that there are people who everyone's reasons are valid. I'm not the arbiter of what's right or wrong, but are in it for different reasons than other people.
Yes.
And I think that tends to come out in the work, but sometimes it doesn't. I mean, sometimes these people make movies that I find are really interesting, but it just leads to more and more people making movies, more and more competition. I mean, Sundance receives, an amount of shorts.
Every year they say it's a record number.
Yeah, I mean,
every year.
I mean, it's certainly higher than population growth. So, you have to think, what is incentivizing these people? I think that's what it is. I think there's a feeling that I can make a movie and it means something to me. Mm-hmm. And I think no matter what, is going on in the subconscious, people think this is interesting. An interesting thing to do, and then find some love for their project, I hope. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, okay, this will be this is going to be not my big break, but this is going to be my thing.
Yeah. But then, I mean, I agree with you on all that. But then I think that doesn't take into account the other side of, of course, anyone can do anything if they have a camera and can make stuff and submit stuff.
Yeah, I also hate it when people say that, though.
No, but I'm not accusing you of saying that.
No, that's annoying when people say, Sean Baker shot, Sean Baker shot Tangerine on the iPhone, 28 days later, and you look at the contraption they made on this movie. No, I don't mean that. I just mean...
No, of course not.
You can go to ShareGrid and open a credit card and make a movie. And
what I was more trying to get at is the other side of the more of the industry, whether it's at the independent level or at the Hollywood level, which is there are arbiters of taste. There's arbiters of money. That's not the right word for it, but I get gatekeeper, whatever. I hate that fucking word because everyone uses it all the time. But there are a class of people that get to decide to a degree what does maybe not gets made necessarily, because I do agree to agree that that you can do stuff completely outside of that system, but I think there's a level of control that obviously the industry does have that selects for their whoever we're talking about's margins. And
I agree. Yeah, sorry. Also, I was resting my hand here. I was like, "This is going to be bad for the shop."
No.
I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't know. But
I can't see the camera, so I don't know. I hope you're in frame. I think you're in frame.
Yeah, that's totally true. I mean,
and also, just to say, not because we are obviously good friends, but I did want to bring you on for your perspective because, again, not to come at you or because this is just your. But I think your position in the industry is maybe not in that same of that level yet, but you're in the mix.
Look, in the mix. I am a lackey at a company that is known, but not the whatever. I mean.
Not one of the big three or four, whatever the fuck.
Whatever kind of company I work at, it might not be in the top three of that group. But it's, I like it a lot in a lot of ways. It's a hard job, but I like it. That being said, I think the amount of people that ask me, get a coffee with my friend who's an actor, get a coffee with my friend who's a filmmaker, come to my short, come to my dude, I can do anything about it. You know what I mean? Someone who I have no power. That just goes to show how much people want a chance. People want a chance so badly, and it's just so bad. But this morning I was listening to the Town.
I don't even know what that is.
That's a Hollywood podcast.
Okay, then I've probably heard
and
it.
Ari Emanuel was on it, and he said, if you have talent, don't worry about it. And when this question came up, and it's interesting because I disagree, but I also agree in that whenever anyone is I need an agent, I need finance, I'm you're gonna die thinking about that. It's just impossible. And I don't mean impossible literally, but it's finding a job at any point. It's just if you're thinking about it all the time, it never happens. You have to go do shit and then it just happens. if I could go back to college and give a speech to the film people about how to get a job in the industry, I'd be like, go to the bar. And then when you're at the bar, eventually you're going to meet someone who works at a place you want to work at, or a place like a place you want to work at. And then you're going to say, that's really what I want to do. Will you get a coffee with me? Let me buy you a beer. And then they'll get you a job. That's literally that's the most democratic thing that we have, is going and getting drunk at a bar. But that's the great equalizer.
So I agree with you, but does that apply for, I agree with you that applies for jobs and working and something consistent, but does that apply for the more creative, whether it be an actor, whether it be a filmmaker?
I don't know. I mean, I've never been someone who's gotten my own film finance, but what I will say is, like, I will say one thing, which is maybe potentially controversial, but I really believe it. I read a lot of scripts. Yeah. I read an incredible amount of scripts. It's a weird thing because unless you're in the industry, you don't read that many scripts. I mean, like, a script is like a kind of a weird, unwieldy object, you know, like. And so now I've read all these scripts, and there's like 5 levels. Like, people have like rating systems for these scripts. There's like 5 levels. There's like, I would say like 40% are undeniable trash. There's not a person, even the person writing them, who can believe in them. Many of those writers,
I would say it's higher, but that's just my personal.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't even heard the next tier, but 40. Sorry. 40 to 50%. I would say half of the working writers and showrunners in Hollywood is populated by this group.
Wow. Okay.
So, and that's just because there's an audience for a lot of different kinds of things. You know what I mean? Like if you look at what's on TV, like, a bunch of it is unreadable on paper. So again, I'm not begrudging it or anything, but it's like the bar is in the toilet, like finance, connections, nepotism. I mean, think about all this stuff 15 years ago. I mean, who even decides what gets read, you know?
Right.
So then there's this. I'd say the next, like, 30% is like, you're literate, this is average.
Perfectly average.
Yeah, like a 5. And everything else was like a 4 or below, you know, or something like that. And that's usually pretty, like, much if someone sends me a script, like, what it is.
Really?
You know, like, at least, fortunately, I mean, like, I run in someone that I'm connected to, maybe I just, like, tend to like their stuff more, but something like that. The next 15% is like, you're a good writer. This script has a good idea. I don't know. You know,
as in just like you don't know what to do with it.
It's like a 7.5. I'm like, this isn't my passion project, but like, you got something here, bro. I want to see it when you make it, you know?
Yeah, but you wouldn't know what to do to make it happen.
So now if I did my math right.
You got 15 left.
I have 15 left. Okay. The next 14%. So maybe I would like redo this math a little, but the next 14% is like, wow, that's amazing. Like, like that's like an 8 or a 9, and like, that's like, you have a good idea. And honestly, I think like a great idea taken to its highest is even more important than the writing. Like, just like you can really only get so far if your idea is like random, I think. Yeah. But anyway, like, it's something where it's like, this is amazing. Like, if I had $1 million, I'd give it to you. You know, like, I hope this gets made. You know, whatever. And then, like, since I started my job 2.5 years ago, I've read 4 scripts that have been in the next group. And that group is...
Only 4?
4.
Wow.
I've read 4 scripts. And I can just list them in my mind. Like... And there are a lot of other scripts that I loved. Like, there are other scripts that I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is like a 9. But the 10s are...
10s are 10s for a reason.
Yeah, and...
But also, I would say, like, I feel like you said earlier that your percentages your percentages might even be small. Like, that 1% is probably even less. Because I feel like you've read more than 400 scripts.
Probably. I'll just say, one of the movies is out. So... Or it's not out, but I saw it at New York Film Festival. It got made. Okay. Late Fame, by Sammy Birch.
Okay.
The director is Kent Jones, but the script is Sammy Birch. The movie is good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Is it getting
Shout
distributed?
out. Yes. And it's killer. The movie's good. Definitely go see it. And it is a movie that, I mean, it's really hard to live up to the script, but it's an amazing movie. And I saw it, and it was, I mean, it's hard to live up to like a 1% script, but it's about, I'll give you the log line. It's about a mailman. Have I told you about this already? Maybe.
I don't think so.
It's about a mailman, and he's in his 70s, and he lives in Lower Manhattan. And he wrote a book of poetry in his 20s. And his book of poetry is rediscovered by the young New York downtown literati.
Okay.
And they come to him.
That's like accurate to the current, or?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And they're like, "You're amazing. Like, you're like our hero." And he's like, "I'm a mailman." But then, it's about how everything changes for him because he's got clout.
Right. He's got,
and he's like a derpy, in the movie he's Willem Dafoe. He's like a derpy guy, but he loves books, and he's always been a reader, but he loves his job. He's been a mailman for 40 years. He likes it, and he has normal friends, and he just a pension,
Yeah.
And a good apartment, and gets along with his neighbor, and he clearly has some other issues, but it's a great story about like really what we're talking about in this conversation. Like we all have a desire for recognition.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the idea that we have to sanctify artists and our want to make something great as just for ourselves and our own motivations is really unrealistic. Like, some of the great pleasure about making anything is sharing it with people, and of course you want those people to think it's good. Now, I don't think everyone should be like, well, I want to win Sundance, I want to win Cannes, I want to go to this place, I want to go to this place. I'm like, well, I think you're going to have a better time at this festival, this festival, this festival, who actually, not that Cannes, I think Cannes and Venice and Sundance program great stuff. I just think, people only list 5 festivals as the ones that they want as success,
Well, then it's also interesting that so you named 4 scripts that might not even fall in the 1%, because I feel like having been there for 2.5 years, you probably read more than 400 scripts. And so, there's 3 other scripts. 1 got made. It's gonna come out soon.
One's getting made. 1 could get made and 1's not getting made. So it's all different levels.
Yeah, but then also
1 got shot. It'll come out in a year or 2.
Yeah.
It's by one of the premier filmmakers. It's just a great, it's just great. I mean, 3 of these 4 scripts really, honestly, all 3 of the ones that I'm talking about that aren't Sammy Birch, and Sammy Birch wrote May December,
Oh yeah.
No matter what you think of May December, I mean, I think the script's far better than May December.
Oh really?
The other 3 scripts are by known filmmakers.
Okay.
And that's not biased. I mean, I would say a lot of the next group was totally unknown people, but
of the top 14%.
Of the top, by and large, people I'd never heard of. But, just, I guess by coincidence, I had known all the people that had written these 4 scripts beforehand. But, whatever. I just mean, that next group is also awesome. I think there's just personal bias.
Well, then, the one thing that I found was interesting, while the camera did cut, but I want to bring it up again because I think this is actually an interesting point of conversation, is about, you use the word pragmatism as far as approaching new work or things that you're currently doing. And you had mentioned, finding technology and finding something in technology or more story specific to speak to our times, which I think is a great idea. I think I also said this during that part of the conversation where the camera cut, but that I think there are very few filmmakers that I can list on one hand that are actually doing something interesting with that, with screens and the internet and porn addiction and gambling addiction and blah, 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 blah. But then I think that's all good and well to acknowledge, as far as ways to kind of ways in to stories. But then I'm curious if that word pragmatism arises to you in any other sense as outside of ways in, like, you know, again, we already did kind of talk about the whole like iPhone and pick up a whatever way, but like, do you think
I don't think it's like that. I mean, you should use a real camera if you're making your first feature. But I mean, also,
I guess for me, the question is more like, is it worth it to, because this is something that, and we've already talked about this personally many, many times for the last year and a half, but like, I guess the question is for me now in my, to bring it to me personally with what I'm doing, like, I made a couple shorts, I made this web series, and I'm gonna do whatever with it. But then the next step for me most likely will be a feature unless somebody likes the short that I write.
But I mean, dude, like, I think just also a feature is just, the most important thing about a feature is making it, then you're a feature filmmaker. I mean, that's the thing.
But then do you think that it's worth, if you write a script that's maybe ideally should be 500K, and maybe even sub that 300, 250, but you only have 50, is it worth making those sacrifices on that financial level? Obviously, there are a lot of variables as to where that sacrifice comes, so it's hard to say. But like, from your perspective, watching movies get made and watching a lot of movies that get made, like, is that worth it? Is that a sacrifice worthy to make in this current
interesting.
economy?
I mean, if you really feel like your story can't be told in that budget, then I would say don't do it. I have a friend, shout out Andy, my friend Andy, who just got married. Andy shot their his first feature for like, well, now I'm like, maybe I'm not supposed to say the budget, but I'll just say...
You don't have to say the amount.
I'll just say the amount is far less than $500,000. It's more than $10,000.
Yeah.
It took everything in Andy's life to raise this amount of money, which was significant. But he made, and he didn't have any money for post when he shot the movie. He shot the movie, and I don't want to figure it out.
Yeah.
And he
Classic.
and shot it on SAG actually, but student film contract. He's a grad student. It's like, I'm gonna make this feature film. I have this feature film. It's fully, everyone was, it was, amazing. And like, I think the film's great. I've seen it, and it's also just a movie that almost is better because of that context. Not the context of like, I know all the stuff about the making of the movie, but like, it has qualities that if it were $1 million would make it a worse movie.
The limitations made him
the limitations made
beyond.
it. Chloe Zhao is getting flack for this thing that she just said about how the limitations are your friend. I never want anyone who invests in my movies to lose money, which I think is an interesting thing to say because, there's a lot of film investors who are okay with losing money. Yeah. And
also interesting for someone like her to say that. But
yeah, I mean, she's also potentially trying to win multiple Oscars this year, so we'll see. But I think there is something to be said for a lot of the really special art I've seen in the last couple of years has been on a very reduced budget. And I also think, frankly, the Gen Z filmmakers who have gotten real recognition, and I'm not talking about festival people that made a movie at a festival and I went to a good festival. I'm talking about the people who, made multiple movies, like Emma Seligman, Cooper Raiff. Like, no matter what you think of those movies, they are not specific to our generation. They're movies about very base human feelings.
Transcending. Just,
I guess Shiva Baby a little bit is about, about.
Yeah.
But by and large, they're not talking about, I think, the things that are like the issues of our time. Not that your movie has to grapple with contemporary issues, but the great filmmakers of people under 28 are yet to come. They certainly are. So if you feel like I feel like every creative I know in my life feels like they're behind. That's how I feel about my life.
Right.
I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I see a manager or an agent that's 24. I see a filmmaker that's 22.
You know agents and managers that are 24?
I do.
That's fucking crazy.
They're 24, and then
Jesus.
filmmakers who are 22, and people,
Oh my God.
And you're like, I'm behind, and
Right.
I'm like,
oh, every day.
I'm like, you're not behind. I mean, as much as I feel that, I'm trying to tell myself that, but it's true. I mean, like, tell me the person you wanted to be. You know, I mean, times have changed in some capacities, but like, unless you wanted to be a movie star, and you still totally could be, like, see George Clooney, you know, but like, in general, they're the best films of Gen Z, about Gen Z, have not even been conceptualized by the people who are cheating on their homework with AI in middle school right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it's just like, people will do anything to say why they couldn't do anything, and that's, you know, that's me. I shot a short and like never put it out. I did this thing, I did that thing. I'm empathetic, you know. I just am like, someone said to me today, a filmmaker I really admire, she said, there's two kinds of people that make it. People who are touched by God through pure talent or connections, and they just get everything. Or people who want it more than everyone else.
Yeah.
So you can rely on the fact that you're the first one, and if it hasn't started happening yet, it'll happen at some point.
Right.
Or you can work harder than everyone else, because frankly, like, you can outwork the fair part of the game. Yeah. You can.
Yeah.
And I don't mean work like every day you need to go up and get 8 coffees. I think that's sociopathy, and the people who try and do that burn out and are very obvious who those people are.
Yes.
No, I think working harder is saying, like, it's being intentional about your work and saying, like, you know, the only good things I've ever made were because I spent a lot of time thinking about them, and you can't cheat that time. You know, not to say there isn't serendipity in the whole thing, but that's been my experience with it. Anyway, this has gone in a very general direction, but I don't know. You know, like, look, you don't want to be relying on the opinion of like people you would have never been friends with at college who are junior agents at CIA. You don't like what do they know? You know?
Yeah. They usually don't know shit. Let me see. I've been on email threads with them.
They don't know anything. You know, they really don't. I mean, it's few and far between, and to be fair to them, like, they're not trained to. It's not their job.
Right.
Like they've been raised wrong. That's what I always say about, you know, Hollywood. Like, they were raised wrong. Like there's like, you know, levels.
I think that's also like, it's good to like separate yourself from, you know, knowing how to do something and then, you know, getting the opportunity to do more or putting it out there or via the validation of others. But I do think, like, and I'll speak this personally, like, I think there's a level of just inherent bitterness that I feel in that there are people who don't understand and this is why I think, like, it's crazy to me that you think that you have a lot of catch up to do still, because I think you are somebody who, yes, works on the business side, but understands whatever the art or whatever corny ass shit you want to call it. But, like, I do genuinely mean, like, the actual craft and art and effort that it and thought process that it takes to make something. But I think, like, when you're encountering people who, and I don't even have anybody specific in mind that I'm thinking about that I would name if I wanted to, but I don't. So it is just a generalization. But I think it is frustrating to come up against those people and have those, and those people are the people who validation. Okay, yeah, you don't need it to continue functioning as a person and as an artist. You can always keep creating. But it's frustrating if those are the people who, you know, don't really care as much about the work.
Well, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you on your own show, because I think I've seen your films. This also just isn't about me, so I'm speaking from my personal perspective. But I'll challenge you, because we'll take it from your perspective if you're comfortable with it, and then we can expand it.
No, you can challenge me.
But I'd say you do not make, you know, digestible, Sundance ready, you know, nor do you make bitey, like viral Vimeo short of the week shorts. Like,
No.
you make conceptual, like, work that I think is generally like about people and about how people really like reckon with their feelings, and that is a very vulnerable thing to do and a hard thing for people to digest. Like, I think if you had made, not a Beautiful Room, but let's just take your other shorts, and they went to Sundance and a manager came to you and said, I really get this, and I'm gonna connect you with with the Sundance Development Fund. Like, yes, this would have maybe potentially opened a big door, but I'm not sure you would have gotten what you wanted out of that experience based on the conversation we're having, what we both know about these places and the work. Like, you have to measure. I guess the question I'll pose to you is, is opportunity everything? Like, I don't know that you would be really had one of those things happen, you had been prepared to resist all the temptation that comes with opportunity in this industry, which is very real. It's like, okay, people do that, people who are real filmmakers, and then they become directors for hire and writers for hire, and they look back at their life. So I think, I guess, do you feel like, oh, I want a faceless entity to give me a zero interest loan so I can make my movie? Or are you saying I want my work to be understood so I can find a real partner who is interested in finding finance so I can make a bigger project? Or like, what do you mean by this sense of bitterness towards these kinds of people? Because you don't want to be like those kinds of people. From the way I understand it. Sorry to challenge you.
No. I appreciate
question.
that, and this is good. I like this. I think to answer the first question about like whether or not, if I had been given those opportunities, would I have gotten I wanted? I think I know now, 2 years after you worked on that short that I did 2 years ago. Now knowing what I know, no, I don't think I would have gotten that.
But at the time, it feels like everything.
Yes, of course.
Of course. But no, keep going.
But I didn't have the understanding. I had been at Anonymous for a little less than a year. I had been there, but I don't think I had like fully soaked in everything that I've soaked in now. So retroactively, I would say no. I fully can see that. Yes, in the craziest of worlds in which I had gotten those opportunities, going to whatever festival, I don't think I would be sitting here, and I'd probably be sitting here and saying something a little, maybe with a little bit less bitterness, but it would still be the same thing of like, okay, I feel like there's not a lot of opportunities. I think, what was the second question about?
I was gonna say like what? Like, what's the best reasonable thing that could happen to you in 2 months?
Whether it's a faceless,
I mean, like, because people want. I mean, I had coffee with a producer who made movies I incredibly admire, who played at huge festivals, really good taste, and I was like, how did some of these get made? And then also with all these people, you never look at all their failures, but And he was like, yeah, one of the movies I worked on, the guy just opened every credit card.
Well,
he just opened every credit card and did it. And it's like, look, no matter how much I love you, no matter how much your script is, that's insane. Don't do that.
Yeah, of course.
Don't ruin your life over negative film.
No.
So this is all to say, I'm like, is it, I mean, America, with all our craziness, we should have American film financing and American public tax credits, but we don't. Something like that, where it's like, oh, I wish I just had a little bit more resources to upgrade my vision. Or you're like, where are the producing partners who care about emerging talent, who, might not have finance themselves, but really want to be professionals? Because also, I mean, I think that's another thing. There are people who, it's hard to make money as a real producer, and
that's
so there's not a lot of
equally
people
as hard
who want
job.
to pursue it. whose really job it should be to do these kinds of things. Unfortunately, it falls on filmmakers who have a whole separate job. But anyway.
I think, and I'm genuinely not trying to cop out of this question because I think it's a great question a great hypothetical to think about as time moves on. I do think it's very difficult for me to answer that question, you know, whether I'm like looking for somebody who like actually cares in a producing partner or if it's just a guy with a checkbook or whatever in between. I think ideally, if I had to answer that question, because the thing is that I think in my current state, because I haven't touched any of that, I would take anything. But I think it's harder for me to answer that question in like a real way that aligns with my principles and my whatever moral compass. For me, because I haven't gotten anywhere near that yet. I think in an ideal world in which I'm like getting up that ladder a little bit, I would obviously pick the ladder of I want somebody who like cares about me, that I'm hopefully like friends with, you know, somebody that I could talk to on like regular shit and work shit, somebody who understands the shit that I want to make. But like, I guess then the difficult thing for me is like, and maybe this just all falls back to me being a bad networker, is that I don't even know where to go to find those people, or where to go to find those people who are like assistants to the people who are doing that now. You know, now that I think one of the things, not that I regret, you know, leaving my job at Anonymous, because I think I think my time there, I used it up and I learned what I needed to learn. But I will say one of the things that I do feel its absence is being tapped into that. If it is literally just having emails that I could hit up. You know, now I don't have my anonymous email. I don't have all the people that I like had to correspond with. And I saved a good amount of them, but of course there are a lot that I forgot about. And if I had stayed for the last year and a half, would have accrued a lot more. So I think it's, again, not trying to cop out of that question.
No,
I think it's difficult for me to have a genuine answer because like, I can't lie, like if a Elon type called me tomorrow and was like, I got $3 million for you, like my instinct would be to say no. I'm not hanging up the phone and being like, fuck off. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna do that.
No, I mean, you should say yes. I mean, look, I've always said, I think rich people giving their money to film is some of the best thing they could do. You know, I can't remember if it was on camera when I said this, but you know, that's what I always say about Little Island. You know Little Island? It's a little park on the west side.
Oh, yeah, the fake island. Yeah.
The fake island. And then there's
I went there a couple weeks ago for the first time.
Billionaire who lives on the water. He's like, I want a park there. I want a park.
Oh, is that how that got made?
I want a park right there.
Oh shit!
And I'm just like, you want to use your money to make a fucking park? I'm like, you go, girl. Like,
yeah.
But you know, that's how I feel about film. Like a lot of these people, they're like, you know, and I know some people who that's how they got their film finance. They took out not quite a phone book, but a digital phone book, and they called doctors and they said, "Will you give me $1,000 to be an executive producer on my film?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Fuck crowdfunding."
Yeah.
I'm gonna call doctors and I'm gonna go to rich neighborhoods and I'm just gonna cold call and I'm gonna say, and then you'll come to New York and you'll be an executive producer on my film. And here's my stuff. I'll email it to you now that we're on the phone. And that's how they got their films financed, which is incredibly creative because what the doctors and lawyers don't have is anything interesting going on.
Right.
So
but they have money.
But they have money, and so it's just like, you know, the whatever film festival that it plays at, no matter what it is very meaningful to them. And so it kind of shows how the meaning shifts from thing to thing. And then that happens on a very high scale where these rich mega producers who don't have anything to do with film but have a bunch of money roll over their producing credits over and over again because they see it as a status symbol. And so
right.
Anyway, this is all to say, I am very heartened in many ways. It's a very tough landscape for agents, managers, production companies, everyone who's in the middle.
Yeah.
But I think if you're a filmmaker, it's not to say not as bad, but like film is not going anywhere. And I think in many ways, like there's becoming a film-loving, discerning culture that is far more young and interesting than the people who go to traditional festivals. I think there's a rise of film lovers, and I don't feel incredibly threatened by AI or, you know, the belt tightening or whatever. Like, the good films are still really good.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, my subway take all of this is I think I think we live in a golden time of art. I think
that's pretty hot. I don't
you
lie.
know, I mean, I think musically certainly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think musically, you know, everyone thinks their generation's making the best music. I'm like, I even like the shit that I don't like. That's how good music is, you know? And then with films, it's like, I almost feel like I've become less discerning over time because I'll see a shitty movie. I mean, I don't watch a lot of blockbusters. There's nothing against like superhero movies or anything like that. But I'm like, contemporary cinema is excellent. It's excellent.
You think so?
You just, like, people just are watching the best of previous years, you know? Because that's what's persisted, you know?
Right.
People are like, nothing's as good as Yee. It's like, well, yeah, that's like the best movie ever.
Ever.
Yeah,
Right.
so
No, I agree with you to a degree.
Yeah, you know, it's like...
You can't compare the good thing from this year to like the greatest thing of ever.
But that's what people do.
Yeah,
that's what people do.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you know, like La Chimera's still playing at IFC and like made a bunch of money. Like, how?
It's a great movie. That's probably one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years.
Yeah, like it's a great movie and like people responded to it and you know, I mean, I almost feel like, I don't know, there's been a lot of really, really, really great movies and contemporary world cinema is really strong.
Yeah.
Like it really, really is. Like, no matter what you like we might not like the same things, but I think if I think
we at least like similar things.
Yeah, I mean, we have a big Venn diagram, but I think, you know, there are you know, I just saw Jay Kelly and I thought Jay Kelly was awesome and I thought I was going to hate it.
I don't even know what that is. So obviously there's been a lot of talk about the business that you do and the work that you do at your job, but I'm also very curious about the creative work that you do. The biggest one is Flight Club, a reading series, shout out Flight Club, that you put on with relatively new writers, right? Emerging talent.
Yeah.
What was the I feel like we actually never got to talk about this personally, about where that kind of came from. And did I go to the first one?
Yes.
The very first one.
The very first one, which
But we
it needed some work. It's changed a lot.
It's a great, I mean, it's obviously,
it's
that's
a good
great
idea. The first one, you really came to the guinea pig. But, you know, I mean, I met all these actors at work that, like, they were talking to me. Honestly, so many of my ideas for everything I do came from these experiences I had when I first started working, which were working in an audition taping room, working with actors and meeting actors and, like, what their life is like. You know, working actors.
Yeah.
Where it's like work, nothing. For like years.
Right.
And it's like then I have to go tape auditions. And you know, it's really interesting because since COVID, like being an actor has changed a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
more we had Lily on and she recounted the differences in
Yeah.
self-taping and all that shit.
And anyway, as I got to working in the space, I learned about theater, which I didn't know anything about. And in theater, it's like, I wrote a play. And they're like, okay, go to play school. And you're like, I went to play school. Here's my play. And they're like, okay, we'll put it on in school. And you put it on in school. You're in school. And you're like, okay, do a workshop. Then you do a workshop. Then they're like, okay, you did that workshop with your friends, cool. Now do a workshop with real actors. Now do another workshop. Now do another workshop. Oh, now it's a regional theater production. Now it's another regional theater production. Now it's another regional theater production. Now it's off Broadway. Now it's off Broadway again. Now it's on Broadway. So it's like you have to go through 9 iterations to do like the thing.
Yeah.
You know, of getting it to Broadway, and then obviously, I mean, off Broadway is amazing, but like you go through all of this and it's allowed to change.
Right.
You know, and
right.
I was like learning about this, and I was just like reading scripts, and I was like, they just expect that in like 3 weeks, someone's gonna be like, great.
Yeah, done.
Not that there aren't edits, but basically like line edits and,
right.
scheduling, you know?
And
like getting someone who makes paying for a schedule to get made if you can afford it. And so, and a budget. And I would read scripts, and a lot of scripts, like when I was doing those categories earlier, would be like really good, except everyone like sounded the same. Because like the writer didn't know how to write voice, and I hadn't read it aloud, and so we had this idea of sort of like a mini workshop presentational thing where we read. I don't watch a lot of TV too, so I thought it would kind of be nice for me to read more television if I was involved in this. But screenplays and pilots, we read them in private with actors that we cast for the roles, and then in public. And I think
so you are casting specifically for everything?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just like a batch of like, oh, whoever's available?
No. You know, I mean, this flight club that's, you know, this weekend, like, this is the first time we put out breakdowns. So we we asked for unsolicited submissions.
Wow, okay.
For people to read. But the first time we did it, we did 4 pilots for 3.5 hours. That was long.
It's a bit long.
And the next one was 2 hours, and the one after that was an hour, and this one's going to be an hour. So it shows where we've gotten. But
yeah.
I think the other nice thing is there's not a lot of creative third spaces to like meet other people who are interested in this kind of thing. I don't think anyone, me included, who now runs this reading series, can tell you that a reading is the most interesting place to be. It's an inherently unfinished form of thing, and particularly to be an audience member and an active audience member. You know, it's like funny, like we like ask people to pay so we can pay the actors, but like it's not watching a movie or watching a play. I mean, it's
inherently different
like
format.
a lab. Yeah. And so I see it as like something I wanted to do to be closer to the creative process, because I'm not close to it in my day-to-day. I'm really not. And you know, I like work on my own creative work on the side, and like I don't have incredibly large creative aspirations, but I think it's really important for everyone to be brought together in creative work. And I think, frankly, I mean, to call a spade, I think that New York and downtown and cool people are full of people who really want to stomp on other people to get ahead. Like they're people that were losers in high school that got cool in college and then got lame again and are trying to be cool again. And there are people who are like following and they don't know what. And they are the downtown art scene in Dime Square is full of unrepentant losers who
That's true.
Like,
and most of them don't even do anything.
Yeah, and they're not, you know, it's like, you know, it's ants on a log. And, you know, it's funny, like, you know, there's plenty of people in that scene that I love and are great, but I just think it's like, it's very important to me that, like, things that I put on and I'm a part of are inclusive, and I don't mean that in some sort of, like, woke jargon way. I just mean, like...
Not the same 5 people.
Yeah, and also like there's an earnestness to these things that I think is important. You know, I think I try and support people that I don't know, but I want to be in community with people that put in effort for people in general. So, you know, I mean, and you know this, like we didn't know each other so well, and I was just like, I don't have anything to do today. I'm gonna go help on the short. That's not like, oh, I'm such a good guy, but like, if I wanted to make a movie, I would need someone to do that for me. And I think, you know, I'm not religious anyway, but there's this karma sense of things. And again, I didn't mean to shit on the Dime Square crowd too harshly. Like, I love a lot of those people. It's just I think there's a competitive New York scene of arts, which is how can I rank up from the reading at Singers to the reading at Sovereign House to the reading at whatever. Like, it's just like not a life, you know.
Yeah.
It's not an artistic real thing. And so what I want to be a part of is things that involve people from all different walks of life with all different levels of socialization and interest, and that's sort of my prerogative more than the stuff, and also like a variety of ages. And so
that way.
What do you say?
He asked where the nearest exit is in the park.
That's really funny.
That's crazy.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go too OD.
No. Well, I think like the shitting on dimes aside, which I will always do on camera, even though there are a lot of people that I like and I'm tight with in it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's not person in particular. In fact, there were many people I didn't like and then I met, and I was like, wow, I like you a lot. I like you a lot. I don't know what. I think also people's negative energy feeds off.
Yeah, of course.
And also now it's like, it's like an easy thing to shit on. I don't mean to kick them down while they're down because it's a moving target. But I guess I just mean like everything is high school.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be in like whatever the least hierarchical club in high school is.
Right, which I think
club.
is, yeah.
You know, like I want to make the key club of the New York art scene where it's sort of like we can have people who I maybe wouldn't get a beer with in it. No, not saying that about anyone in Flight Club, but I just mean I think it's important to be in community with people who aren't exactly like you and don't share all of your tastes and references and friends.
Yeah. No. I think like what you said about having I try to avoid using buzzwords a lot, and third space is one that is used a lot, but I think like there is obviously credence to it, and there aren't a lot of those places for shit like you're platforming that are outside of a social scene. Like that stuff exists within the social scene, but the social scene exists first. I feel like what you're doing is the work first, and then if you find somebody that you fuck with, great.
Yeah,
you guys are friends.
Yeah, now go get a drink.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, I think that's one thing that's really important to me about it is, we're building an alumni of people who made a choice to go to a reading that wasn't about clout.
Right.
Self-selecting group.
Right. Which is which is because not a lot of people do that. Not a lot, because I'm sure it takes, and I'm sure you can attest to this, it takes a lot of fucking work if you already don't have that built-in, social scene and hierarchy available to you.
You know what's funny about it too is like, for all these people who want to lament, about, the state of artistic affairs, like we have junior executives from filmmaking companies come to Flight Club.
Oh yeah.
We have people that people would really want to meet come to Flight Club, and they come because they're the kind of people who are in it for the right reasons.
Right.
And so it self-selects for a kind of person that we want to be there anyway.
Yeah.
And so, it's like anything else. It's not perfect. It's just getting better and better. But
what's been your process for selecting works that get?
It's been really. We didn't really solicit that many more work. So the very first one, we solicited all the work because it was a new thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it was a coworker of mine, Clara, who's a producer in Flight Club, my sister, and someone else that we knew. I don't know how we knew Sydney. Her pilot's amazing. So the first one was just like people we knew.
Yeah.
Then after the first one, we opened it up to open submission. We got 45 pieces of work. So we were like, we'll never have to.
Yeah, you're good for a while.
They're good for forever. And then it was like, holy shit, that's like a lot of work. And so there's 3 of us who run it, split it up And we also had a couple of like goals in mind. Just like there is a little bit of a tilt towards like originality, I would say. Like we got something like, I don't know, Clara and Sophia, I hope it's okay to say this. We got something like 15 scripts about college. And they were all of varying quality, and we were just sort of like, this is the most boring version of this. Nothing against these scripts.
People need to let go of that shit. People need to stop writing
Not even
about
that,
college.
but just, you know, it was just like, okay, like, where's even the democracy in this?
Right.
You know, the best of these scripts is only so much better, whatever.
Right.
And then the last pilot we did at Nightclub 101 was a really, really strong comedy pilot that was sent, that my co-producer Sophia got. And we had gotten it in the first round, and we said that we wanted to do it at some point, and then we got it in another iteration, and then we put it on. And then this, I've never met the person who's doing the next pilot.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know anything about him.
That's all. That's kind of sick, isn't it? Though.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know anything.
It's not a personal connection. It's just like
no. So I think Sophia's met him.
Okay.
Clara and I don't know him. I don't know anything about him.
That's
but
crazy.
I read the pilot.
Yeah.
In the first round, I said it was one of my favorites, and so we always had it as an idea.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And yeah, I was really excited. I'm really excited about this one, and
yeah, I'm excited to be there. This obviously will come out after that, but
I'm
excited to see the work that's been. I mean, because like you guys have been upgrading.
Can I have a cigarette? You have another cigarette?
Absolutely. You guys have been upgrading every time going.
You think so?
Well, I mean, just as far as
you
venue
think vibes?
goes. I mean, I haven't been since the first one.
Oh yeah.
Not to say that BCTR is great. We love BCTR, but like
cut that.
Lily is obviously a performer with them, and I've seen.
Cut that. Well, no, I mean
BCTR
are all my friends. I was just making a joke.
No, of course. But you know, just as far as like, that's obviously a place where you go to put stuff on, and you know, that's not like that's the traditional place, right? Like, because you know, Matt does readings there, and other people do put shows on. And
shout out Matt.
You know, it's cool to, obviously I have not been able to attend any since then, but to just see the flyers and be like, Nightclub 101, it's like I've been there for a show. I haven't been there for a reading. I've been there on some late night shit to go, you know, see whatever's going on. You know, and then to see you guys, we're doing a reading here, but it's at here, it's like, oh, okay, that's like, you know, there's a level of leveling up, you know. Not putting down anyone that came before, but it's awesome to see. And especially with, now you just said it, like, because I was curious about like where you were sourcing things from, because yeah, of course, like we all know a bunch of people who write shit, but then for you to say like, oh, I've never met this guy before, it's like, oh, okay, so then like you're actually sticking to whatever the mission statement, we don't have to be so dramatic about it, but like of like making sure that this isn't just about a social scene and people that we know, and it's like good work that we get will be put on.
Fuck my friends. I can't get my friends to come to this. So, you know.
Myself included, I haven't.
No, you know, like I have this running joke. I mean, except for PJ, Malai, Adriana, my girlfriend, you know, the rest of my friends don't come to this. You know, it's not for them. But it's a self-selecting group, you know?
I'm assuming my ex hasn't come.
Well, she came the first time with you, yeah. She came the first time with you. But no, she hasn't. You know, love her. But she, like, I think it attracts the right kind of people.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we'll see. Maybe this one will be a flop. But I also just love, like, you know, the casting. It is very fun. I mean, we have a really good cast for this next one that includes. It's a really great group of actors from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And like, you know, our lead of the piece is an actor who starred in Celine Song's last play.
Oh, wow.
And I've never met him, but like, you know, everyone is so much more game than you think they are.
Yeah.
And people at work will ask, like, with the filmmakers that I'm close with, I have a lot of, like, filmmakers that I consider my friends that I reached out to since I started doing my work. Like, I reached out to them because I loved their work, and I told them I loved them as artists. And then, like, the friendship came after, and, like, I think, as lame as it is, like, the earnestness really, like, comes out if you mean it. It's just like...
No, I agree. Like, the networking comes so much easier if you guys actually want to hang out, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's just not even networking. It's
That's
just
why I can never do the
making a
LA
friend.
thing. That's probably why I'll never make it in the industry, is I can't...
Well, don't say that.
I can't, But, also, I mean, there's another funny thing, which is, like, I never lie about reading someone's script. That's such a big... It's such a, like, silly thing to say.
Oh, yeah, no, I've seen that.
It's such a silly thing to say, but people lie about watching people's movies or reading people's scripts. You know how much better it is to say just, like, hey, I've been busy, or I forgot?
Yeah.
But people lie. I just, like, see people lie about people watching people's work, and it's like no one's bold enough to really ask one question to catch them out, but you can just tell. You can
always tell. Having been on the receiving end of that, it's like you said, you've always been honest with me, with my shit that I send you, and I always prefer that. If it's because the opposite end is, like, either they just don't respond, which is just almost more annoying.
It was great.
Or that's and it's just like, okay, well, what else? And it's like, obviously, and again, like, you're right. Like, I'm not gonna press you unless, like, I'm really tight with you. I'm not gonna press and be like, okay, what did you like about it? What was so great about it? But then, if you just say I'm busy, I'm like, yeah, I know you're busy. And then it's just like, okay, well, whenever you get to it, let me know.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, these scenes and stuff, like, I don't know. I took a great acting class at BCTR, and then I TA'd a class there, and I'm really close to a lot of people there. I'm writing a play. That's, like, my next project is I want to, my twin wrote a play, so I have to copy her and do a play. But I've been writing this play that I'm really passionate about, and I have a new, like, creative partner that I kind of work on most of my projects with.
Right.
And, like, I've just fallen in love with this play. Like, I'm like, this is the thing I'm gonna do. And, I was thinking about it, and my first thought process was, oh, maybe I could get this actor, maybe I could get this actor. And, now that I'm almost done with the play, I have come to this place where I'm like, I just want to do it with my friends.
Yeah. It always feels better.
I just want to do it with my friends. Like,
I've never understood the instinct for, like, filmmakers of our same level that are like, oh, I need to get this DP who's, like, worked on Atlanta and worked on White Lotus and blah, 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 when they have, like, 5 DP friends who, like, would do this shit in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Or, like, getting a producer who, like, okay, maybe they do have some connections or whatever, but, like, you got a homie who will, like, spend 7 hours with you on a Sunday figuring out the locations and the budget and all that shit. And I'm just like, I never understood that, because I have my go-to group of people, and they know who they are because I made them work for free for many, many hours and many, many days. But, like, I would do the same for them, and I have been doing the same for them. Shout out Clay, shout out Finn. Finn's not here, so fuck you, Finn, but that's fine. We like to bully Finn a little bit. But no, like, it's a great thing to just have people that you love. And it's even better when you want to work with them and they know how to do.
Look, I mean, like, Kelly Reichardt's my hero, and she's had the same, 2 producers for 20 years,
right.
and, like, no one knows their names, Neil and Anish. But, like, when I see them at New York Film Festival, I'm like, you're my hero. I'm like, you're my hero. Like, these people that make great art happen are my heroes.
Yeah.
So, I think ultimately, as much as, like, it's fun to make art, for me it is a hobby. I want to work. My dream is to help someone that I really believe in. I've met some people that I think are great, but probably that person is yet to come in my life, just in general, who I want to dedicate my life to. But I think art is a life of service in a lot of ways, and so,
Very much so. Last question. One popular thing that you hate. Every single time I've asked this, I actually don't have anything ready to go. So I'm gonna ask you to go first.
Well,
Because while you talk, I'm gonna think about my answer.
I have some I want to rattle off.
Go ahead.
I'll start with the beach.
The beach?
I'll start with the beach.
You're not a fan of the beach?
No, I like the beach, but it's not the bee's knees, The beach, I could
agree with that to a degree.
By 90 minutes into the beach, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I'm still a child in the way that if there's not big waves, I'm sort of like, why are we here? But it can be really nice, but I think people really act like it's all that. What else? What's one popular thing that I hate?
Seems like you don't really like
Los
Charlie.
Angeles.
That's a good one.
Fuck LA. I won't say the next thing that would be really funny, but fuck LA.
Say it. Now
No,
you have to
I
say
can't say it. It's so bad.
Say it, I'll cut it out if it's that bad.
No, I can't say it.
It's really that bad?
It's
okay,
bad
you'll
enough.
tell me off camera. No, I agree. I don't like it being in LA.
No,
for
here are
any
the
more
great
than 2
cities.
weeks.
Madrid.
Oh, we're going international with. Okay, I like that. Okay, Madrid.
Actually, I can't go international because I haven't been that many places. So.
Let's go domestic.
So domestic, Atlanta, New York, San Francisco. That's it.
Wow, you put SF on there? No disrespect to SF. I haven't been there in mad long, so I can't even make a judgment on that. But no Chicago?
I just went to Chicago and it was really nice.
But that didn't make it on the list?
I just don't have enough experience. It has
okay,
an
fair
asterisk.
enough. Atlanta's cool. I like it. I've been
Philadelphia, Boston, LA.
Ranking LA.
Portland, get out. Seattle,
Ranking
get out.
LA on Portland, Seattle, Philly, and Boston. Because those four are of the same ilk.
I lived in Portland for a summer. Philly is awful. Boston is awful in a way where it's we could put all the awful people there.
Yeah, just leave them over there.
Seattle is not for me. Atlanta, I went there and I was like, it was cool.
To put LA on there, you might get some hate comments. But also, I don't know. Everyone also, it's a trendy thing.
I'm from New York. It's a trendy thing to shit on. And then the trendy thing is to shit on New York. I'm not following any trends. Here's the thing about LA. They're like, this is the cool neighborhood, and then I walk 4 blocks, and then I'm at a parking lot, and then they're like, that's actually the fire taco spot.
Right,
and I'm
right.
okay.
There are some fire taco spots in
where's
front of
the
parking
pharmacy?
garages,
What the fuck is going on? They're like, oh no, you gotta Uber. No, you have to drive. But the traffic is terrible. But the nature is great. I'm like, okay, so you're saying if I live in New York, I can just zip car to a state park, and it takes the same amount of time to get from my friend's house to my friend's house.
Yeah. No, it's terrible.
So what's the point of being close to all the nature?
You're not doing much of it.
If I can get to the beach on the train in New York, why the fuck am I getting in my own car to do it in LA?
Drive 2 hours. Yeah.
But whatever. That's where the industry is. And I love the industry.
We love the industry.
We love the industry.
Well, I'm gonna get called bad names for mine.
Which is
that I think that most people use the word burnout, and what they really mean is that they're just not ready to admit that they're not cut out for whatever the fuck that they're talking about. I think there's a select few. I think burnout is real. I'm not saying that it's not real, but I think when people say that they're burnt out of their corporate 9-to-5 job that they work 4 hours a day at, I'm just like, I don't think you know what that word means, and I don't think you actually.
You don't think I could be burned out?
I think you could, because I don't think you work 4 hours a day.
4 hours a day. Yeah.
I think that we throw that word around because mental health is a bit whatever, and it's yeah, of course, but also I'm there. I want to kill myself all the time, but it's do you really know what burning out means? Or are you just unable to admit to yourself that like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing my job and like starting a business and I don't know, trying to be an influencer all at the same time? And people don't want to admit that because there's a shameful thing about admitting that you've, I don't know, overextended or like are unable to do something. But I feel like that word gets thrown out so much these days that like really like I think half the time it's like people are just lazy. And that's fine. You can be lazy. I've been lazy at many points in my life. I didn't make any films for 3 years after I graduated, 4 years after I graduated college. I didn't do shit. I wasn't burnt out. I just didn't have any ideas. And I said that out loud. There was no like, oh, I graduated and I spent all my time on my thesis and now I'm just I don't have it in me. It's like, I don't have it in me because I don't have any good ideas. And I told people that. People would ask me, are you still doing films? Like, yeah, I would like to, but I don't have any good ideas.
I think there's some truth in what you're saying. Maybe I would push back just in that I think that there are people, well, maybe my own unpopular opinion is just I think you and me are around a lot of people who are incredibly weak.
Yeah.
So they might actually be burned out.
That's also true. I guess that's a fair consideration. I
think that you know, I know people that like can't like be in a room with a loud air conditioner. Like they just can't exist. Like like inconvenience is pain to them. And so like I agree, but I also just think that like, you know,
that there's a caveat to what I'm saying.
I give some deference to the fact that I think a lot of people are maladjusted and like genuinely believe that they're burned out because they've never had to work hard.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I think like I don't, and this is something that I've also said this on another episode, this exact sentence, but this is something that I've talked about in therapy a lot, which is that I don't really fall into the typical columns of people who are maladjusted fall into. And so I have a very different perspective on like the ability to do work in relation to my mental health. And yeah, I think that my take definitely excludes, or it comes from my personal bias of being able to do shit when I want to kill myself. And like, that's a rare thing. Like that, not a lot of people can do that. And I'm not even trying to toot my own horn because there's no horn to toot. I fucking hate doing it if I'm not interested or, you know, having fun with it. But I guess like my statement belies the fact that I can do that, albeit I don't enjoy it. But you are correct in that some people are just not built for certain things. But I guess that's also what I'm saying with an extra step, which is that some people are not built for shit and they don't want to admit it. But it's totally fine to admit that. But we like to use this word, burnout, as a way to like give yourself a stopgap. So that you don't have to say like, I'm quitting or I'm giving up. Because that sucks. Of course, that always sucks to say like, I'm giving up on something that I'm passionate about. But I think some people do need to say that. I think there's some people that are just, you know, you give them 10, 20 years and all the money in the world and all the time in the world, they're not gonna fucking do it. And that's okay. Whatever it is, whether it's being an artist, whether it's being a filmmaker, whether it's, I don't know, starting a business, whatever it is, like there are some people who just like should be doing something else. And that's okay. That's okay, but I feel like the whole like mental health awareness thing is like folded in on itself where we're like not actually saying.
There's no question that is bad. I mean,
yeah.
I'll just tell you, okay, you know, we'll go back for a second, if only because I'm like, I want to redo my take. I don't want Charlie, I don't want Charlie XCX getting mad at me. That's too powerful an enemy for me right now. But, you know, my parents, they, love you, Mom and Dad, if you watch this, they did not, I would say, I've been in therapy a very long time, but they did not encourage super much like I've never been on any prescription drugs for my mental health or anything. And
same. Though it's been recommended many times.
And I think, you know, I think it's been interesting as I've gotten older and seen I think that we have a real dependency on self-medication in many ways that is very, like, kind of what we were talking before about film. Like, we have a loneliness crisis, we have a drug and alcohol crisis, we have a gambling crisis, we have a porn crisis. I think there's no way this doesn't in some sense have to do with some, like, increasing moral and mental malaise that cannot be explained in some easy way. And so, not to make a claim that's like pro or anti antidepressants. I've never been depressed and I haven't been on them. I just mean, it seems like people in general are getting worse.
Yes.
And that is transcending everything.
Yeah, regardless of the pharmaceutical
advances, regardless of how people are able to medicate it, like, it seems like in general people are needing more support, and they either turn to what might be a good solution for them and might be healthy, or some obviously poor solutions, like some of the ones that I named, like people in general, it's just like more common to be able to say that you're struggling, and that's a good thing, but also people are doing bad. Like, I think I'm not sure it was always normal for everyone you knew to be doing bad. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Or maybe, but I don't know. Also, maybe if just people weren't talking about it as much, which I think is a good thing. That's one really good thing. That's, like, I think a positive thing about mental health awareness, whatever the fuck I keep saying, the word that I keep using for it, that's a good thing. I think it's gotten a lot less difficult to bring shit up.
I guess all I meant to say was just like the
Zoloft bad.
Zoloft bad, that's what I meant. No, it seems like Zoloft good based on what I know, but I just mean like everyone, I don't get the impression it was so common. Maybe that's a good thing that more people are having these experiences, but I just am like, yeah, everyone's burned out. Everyone's depressed. Everyone's like whatever. Like, these buzzwords have become our way to conceptualize. This is my take. Erase everything I just said. I have it. I have my idea.
Yeah.
My idea is people now have acceptable terms to define how they feel in a kind of concrete way. And they've now siloed their feelings as burnout, depression, addiction, all of these things, that we talk about. And I feel like it's like therapy speakified all of our feelings.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, now we have a solution for that. It's like, well, like, all the people I know who are relying on things or substances, like, are not the same. All the people I know who are depressed are, like, very different and seems like would respond to different things. Like, all the people I know who are burned out, like, some of them are burned out because, like, they work 16-hour days, and some of them are burned out because, like, not because they're lazy, but just, like, because they have a low tolerance for work. And or dealing with other things and are making burnout that answer. Right. Anyway,
I agree. That's a great note to cap on. I already finished my beer. I have my side beer. Oh, you are? Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. Thank you, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie.
And I'm going to go cut the camera.